True Review.
Hello everybody, welcome to a true review of Pity Pit on the Xbox One. It's priced at $4.99, €4.99 and £4.19. Pity Pit doesn't give us a lot to work with its very minimal presentation. It's definitely got an old school, very old school 8-bit, maybe even prior to that, like home computer, Spectrum C64, very early days vibe. And it's most definitely a score attack game. You play as a miner who has got to go down this shaft by digging. It's kind of a little bit reminiscent of Dig Dug in that way, but Dig Dug without the greatness. First of all, the mine shaft itself doesn't take full use of the screen. You're kind of like going down this little tunnel aspect with most of the screen taken up with, I suppose it's the user interface. So it's very odd. I mean, you got inventory and you've got a picture of the character to the left, which serves absolutely zero purpose. And then you have the pickaxe, which I've never managed to get replaced, so I don't know what other items you can replace it with. Then there's an optional bomb slot on the right hand side of the screen as well. This takes up far too much of the screen's real estate. It's absolutely ridiculous. Graphically, I mean, I don't really mind it that much. Coming from that era of video games, I can appreciate this graphical style, but this is just certainly not going to resonate with anybody who's into modern video games at all. The premise of the game is just to survive as long as you can, scoring as many points as you can. The pit every time is completely randomly generated. It doesn't seem to follow any consistent pattern from what I've seen. Sometimes runs are a lot easier than others, and sometimes it gives you seemingly impossible winnable situations. The controls themselves are very sluggish. You kind of have to deliberately input each direction you want to go. You can't just simply hold down and it will dig down. It's literally down. For example, to dig several times, and this can lead to over inputting the instructions and you digging further than you actually want to. Another issue with these sluggish controls is the hit detection. There are enemies you do have to avoid, which do pose a bit of a problem, because the only way to dispatch them, or the main way to dispatch them, is with your trusty pickaxe. But it's not that trusty, because sometimes you're hitting them and they're just carrying on walking towards you and just walk through you. Even though you're maybe damaging them, they're still taking life points off you, and the game doesn't kind of cater for that hit and run kind of mentality, because there's simply not enough space to go on the screen. I mean, even if you've got a full clear pit, I think it's about 8 squares across, with your character taking up one of the squares and the enemy taking up one of the squares. You do have a jump over the enemies, but again, the way the game's structured, you very rarely have the clearance of a ceiling to actually be able to jump over the enemy, and even then, you seem to jump over the enemy on occasions and you still take damage from it. Other things that tend to kill you in the game are your own bombs, and there's also TNT blocks, which when you set off, an explosion goes left to right across the screen, and I not managed to survive it once, again due to the hit detection. I even managed to get onto the safe platform on the row above, but the explosion takes down the ground underneath your feet and kills you. So you try jumping from that situation, and the character you jump isn't high enough or long enough to keep him in the air, and the explosion still kills you. So I'm just totally puzzled that when you encounter one of these TNT blocks, how you actually manage to evade the explosion, which usually, when there is a presence of the TNT block, is usually required to destroy, normally impassable squares. One thing I do like about the game is the sound effects. It's very minimal, but if you come from that genre of video games, you can really appreciate some of the old school bleeps and bloops that the game actually does come out with. Other than that, the game, like I say, is primarily score attack. It is Just collect as many coins as you can, get as many resources as you can, and survive as long as you can. But when the game is just totally randomly generated, you feel like it's just a case until the game gives you an unwinnable situation. Now, unfortunately, the game doesn't really offer much replayable value, and which is the most damning thing I can say about a game which is tailored towards score attack. After 30 minutes to an hour, you will literally be bored silly of this game. You know, just with its unfairness and repetitive nature, there's just nothing much to it, and you'll just get fed up with runs being ended prematurely just due to poor random generation with no rules. I always find with random generated games, you still need to place some kind of parameters in there just to create unwinnable situations and just situations that make it totally unfair to the actual player. The one saving grace for this game is that if you are an achievement hunter, it is a very, very easy 1,000 gamer score. You're going to get them all in less than an hour's worth of play, which is pretty much the lifespan of this game. Another saving grace, I would suppose, is that it is, you know, a very cheap title with being under $5 to actually purchase. But even then, unless, like I say, you are a trophy hunter or a achievement hunter, I can really only recommend you buy it if you are looking for that gamer score or looking for the trophies. So Pity Pit, unfortunately, is going to get the award of a disaster.